Let me just say before this video starts, these are just my opinions. You're allowed to have your own. You're allowed to enjoy things the same way I'm supposed to critique them, okay? Ladies and gentlemen, I have never been so conflicted on a game except Spider-Man 2. There have been times where I'm like, is this a good game? Is this a bad game? Is it a disappointing game? And you know what my conclusion has become? It has a flawed story. No! Don't get me wrong, there are definitely things to like about Spider-Man 2. There have just been a little bit of things that nag at me, catch me out of the experience. Every time. Because the more I think about it, the more it makes no sense. The first thing I want to point out is that Miles Morales, the second Spider-Man in this game, becomes delegated to basically doing side quests for the entirety of Act 1 and Act 2. They just needed Miles to do something, like anything, while Peter Parker was doing something else.
Didn't even bring my scarf!
It makes absolutely no sense whatsoever plot-wise for them to be separated when Peter Parker gets freaking stabbed. You might be saying there should have been some urgency in the situation when she gets basically sort of kidnapped, quote unquote, and loses her phone. But like, come on. You would have to think Peter would call Miles.
You guys not have phones? Yeah.
But you'd be saying that, no, he was fine because he had Agent Venom. And you have to tell me something. We just played a mission before that with Agent Venom where Harry had no idea what he was doing.
Good job back there. Really? I was pretty sure I was just messing everything up. You were.
And you're gonna tell me Peter would pick Harry over Miles in a situation where Mary Jane was basically captured.
Where are you?
And I think the only reason they had Agent Venom at all was so they had an excuse to transfer the symbiote powers to Peter. Because think about it. If Harry wasn't there when Peter got stabbed, he wouldn't have given the symbiote. Also, if Miles was there, he wouldn't have gotten stabbed at all. And then we get to Harry Osborn.
Sorry for coming by unannounced and all.
And I'm conflicted. Not because of his character, but more so because of his character development.
Yeah, it's pretty great, isn't it?
Why don't you pop some more pills and say what you really feel?
I'm unsure if they spent enough time on Harry or not enough time on Harry. It's more so that we don't see him earn these types of development arcs, you know? Where we don't see him build the EMF. We don't see him train to be Agent Venom. He just has the EMF. He is just Agent Venom. It's those parts that make me conflicted, where they do a good enough job to make me ensure that I know who Harry is, but not enough to make me believe. I think it's more so that the writers do the bare minimum in that regard, where you can believe they do these things, such as with the flashback, which leads to EMF, such as when Harry and Peter spend an all-nighter, and then it just fades to black, and then he becomes Agent Venom after the fact.
Pete, please.
It's these little moments, I think, that just needed to be more fleshed out, and not just like it's an afterthought. They just need it in there. And I will tell you right now, Kraven kind of sucked as a hunter.
Track the lizard.
Like, honestly, I didn't really see him hunt in this game, which kind of betrays his moniker that he is Kraven the Hunter. Because most of the time we're seeing his actual hunters hunt the villains, Spider-Man. Heck, they even drugged Miles. You didn't see Kraven do that.
It's possible.
You're welcome.
We fight him for the first time. We're basically a souped-up symbiote as Peter Parker. And how the hell do we lose the symbiote and become one with it as quickly as we got it?
Where?
Makes no sense. It was because Miles was there.
Sorry about that.
I honestly don't think the writers came up with good enough excuses for why Miles wasn't there during these like very important parts. Like he doesn't even see Agent Venom, man. Like, what?
Welcome back, Venom Powers!
I kind of wish like the Scream boss fight took more time, because I just wanted it to be more of a little by little drip feed of exposition than just, here we go, this is Mary Jane being Mary Jane. I think the story just doesn't have time for that.
Always about you! You can't keep a job! You can't pay the mortgage!
And here it comes. Here it comes. Shit. I dropped something.
It's time for a Miles Morales original, you know? One of one. One of one. It looks good.
Huh?
You know, what happened to the code of, no promotions? You seem to be, repping Adidas really well, huh? What have they done to you, man? You look like a walking advertisement. I like how the color of the shoes don't change. Adidas was like, very specific. You cannot change the color of our shoe, but you can change anything else. Alright. I have the appropriate attire back on. Let's do this.
We have a firm rule against Spidey endorsements. Might want to rethink that business plan.
Unless you're Adidas. The fact he ended the entire game with that suit on, despicable. I just think overall the final act was just giving me this like vibe that everything's just better with Miles. Like, I understand he's getting a development arc and everything, where he's developing into Spider-Man when he fights his dad's killer, Martin Lee. I understand that. But why is he doing it now, when the game's basically over?
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
We get this entire section for Miles where he has to make a sound in the shipyard for the symbiotes. And I'm like, why are we doing this? This feels like a side quest. Hell, it was a side quest in the last game when we were doing this for Uncle Aaron's Beats.
Need to be a little closer to get your levels right.
I think what I'm trying to say is that we don't have time to explore, we just have time to see. Kind of like a TikTok in that case, I guess. Where they're just trying to keep our attention instead of just making us at all see a development. I played as Spider-Man, that I cannot deny, with the gameplay doing its best to make you feel like him. But I didn't play as a hero. I played for the plot to happen. Where I like where they took the story, however, I don't like how they got there. I'm hoping that's fixed by the next game, but these are my thoughts. I hope you understand where I'm coming from, and you can agree or disagree with my opinions. In the end, I'm just a guy complaining about superhero games.